All right, welcome to another episode of the Critical Introverts podcast. I'm your host, Senor Filth. I got kind of I guess, somewhat of a full house today. I got my co-host, Benevolent Asshole. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm back.
We got Evine Arts. She was here last episode. If you want to introduce yourself also.
Well, hello, my name is Evine. I am an illustrator and comic artist. That's about as far as I'll go into introductions. Well, you'll learn more about me as the show goes along.
Yeah. All right. And today we have Dave. I forget your last name. Is it how you pronounce your last name?
MacDowell.
MacDowell.
Capital M, capital D. I'm Scottish.
Okay.
Yay.
I guess if you want to just do a quick introduction of yourself.
Drink a lot of scotch. Yeah, I'm an acrylic artist, painter. Mostly acrylics on canvas, sometimes on paper, markers on paper for illustration work. Like to do different styles, and that's as PG-13 as I get, I guess.
Yeah, one thing that I found you, and you were like one of the few artists that I've seen on Instagram that are putting out pretty out there stuff, as far as humor wise. And was this like a style that you kind of always had, or was it something within this last, I don't know, 2 years that made you just said fuck it? And
that's pretty much it. You pretty much wrap that up next. Yeah. 9 nights over. Taxi. Yeah, at first it was trying to fit into the establishment. And, you know, I'd take terrible advice from gallery owners who would be like, no lettering. Don't put lettering in there. Or, you know, they just be abusive to the artists because they're not artists themselves, you know. And so once I started dragging away from galleries, I'm like, I'm just going to say what I want to say. I think that, you know, if I have a negative opinion about like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I'm going to say it. Or, you know, everybody, I'm not going by the media narrative. Or sometimes I'll mock the media narrative. Like, AOC is awesome, or whatever thing they're pumping right then. Usually, okay, everyone's talking about AOC. I might as well paint her eating babies or whatever, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. I just, like, this last 2 to 3 years, like, I've noticed just like any kind of art, as far as painters, but just musicians, just become so so safe. And I like, as someone who's grown up into like music, art, movies, like I've always liked art for having that kind of fuck you to the establishmentness to it. And
it can go too far though.
Yeah, definitely.
Pistols. It becomes almost like a stereotype, like I'm a rebel.
Yeah.
What happened to the rebels? Where are the real rebels, man? Everyone is just too clean right now.
Yeah,
Actually,
you know. And
I don't know if you guys mind hearing a funny little story.
Go for it.
Who was a rebel at my school. So if you remember me telling you in our last interview together, I consider myself anti-feminist. But there was this one guy in our in our class together. It was the teacher who was the feminist. And
right.
When she had a chance, she will rail on about it. But she would catch herself, and then she would like, okay, everyone present your artwork.
Yeah.
So this one guy, so he had the philosophy correct, but I don't think he knew exactly how to present it. So he was always told, if the art offends you, then it's meant for you. But what he put out was just in general offensive. If like it was someone smoking Mary Jane, or it was like something with a lady who was buck naked in front of the on the CD cover that we all had to create as though we were making our own album. And it was just one of those moments. It's like, I don't think you quite know what that phrase means. Because he was just doing it to be offensive in general. But when we were looking at the one where it was a girl dressed up in fishnets, and that was all she was wearing.
Nice.
Most of us had like nothing to say about it, because what can you say? I don't care. I don't care for your style, but I'm not real. But so I wouldn't really have a critique to give you.
Yeah.
But his drawing set off the teacher. She was saying ladies should be able to dress like that and not give a crap about what anyone thinks. And she went off on her feminist tirade, and I was just, oh my gosh, shut up, please. And I just walked out of the room because when you get me on that subject, I don't shut up about it. And I knew if I said something, my grade was going down the drain. So I walked out before I would end up arguing with her. And
was this was college or high school?
College. This was college.
Yeah.
So like, and like years later, I already got my degree. I see now where the guy should have been like focusing where he wanted to put offensive stuff. Like you want to put off offensive stuff if it's something that you believe in. Like I believe in pro-life. I don't, and I absolutely despise what feminism's become. But I know if I put out junk like that, holy cow, I am gonna offend a lot of people now.
Yeah.
So it was just a really funny experience in my college life, and also around the time where I really did not want to touch on politics.
Yeah.
And now, well, you see where I am now.
Yeah. I don't know. Part of me, like there's this weird internet culture thing of like the internet troll, and part of me, like I think that they're like wildly underrated. Like I think there is a need to like trigger people when they need it, and I don't know, like I guess I have to have seen the guy's piece to know what you're talking about, because it
was just generally excuse me, whoops, allergy cough. It was just general, like what people would have considered offensive at the time, like the smoking a blunt, or a half-naked girl on the cover, or maybe someone punting a baby, like stuff that is generally offensive.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I'm just like, me growing up in the 90s, like there was like a fun offensiveness to that era that I kind of really miss. So I don't know.
I think it's creating like really weak people though.
Yeah.
Because all feminism is doing is exposing the insecurity of like females. Because when you become like a feminist, the new feminism that's coming out is like they need a group of other females supporting you, and it doesn't matter what it is. It could be like the worst thing, like eating babies, or just abortion in general.
Yeah.
And that's not what feminism should be. I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of Judge Judy?
Yeah.
I love Judge Judy.
I adore Judge Judy.
It's against like feminism because it exposes the insecurity in females, and it takes away the individual, like the personal responsibility and accountability of like your own actions. Like you want to earn your place in life. You don't want to have like a bunch of other people. Oh yeah, she deserves to like get that job because it's a female. No, you want to get that job because you earned it. You worked your ass off, not because of like this mob behind you, like telling everybody else, oh, she needs to get hired because she's a woman.
Yeah, and I absolutely despise that. Oh my gosh. So I teach Sunday school at my church. And one of the volunteers was is a very beautiful 15-year-old girl, and she's working to be a lawyer. So she tells me all about the law books that she's had to purchase.
Yeah.
And she's telling me how they are very pro woman, and not so much for the guys, and also like needing to be aware about racial tensions. And as soon as she was telling me that these were in the law books, it was just like, God bless you for knowing what to look for when it's becoming. It's like I have hope for the younger generation, because they seem to understand that there's something going on. There's something going on.
Yeah, I think the generation after this current one should be kind of fine, I think. Because when in my last job,
we always have hope.
Yeah.
We always have hope for you. But that's all we got. And we have to instill that in the kids, and we have to be completely honest, because we've come through a generation of parents who lied to you. You know what I mean? I mean, some lies were good, like Santa Claus, and I'm not saying Santa's not real, but little white lies to protect their grunge or whatever they were doing.
The general like white lies.
Yeah.
Right. And we all do that. We all do that out of kindness or niceties, or we're not sincere with anybody, really. Maybe if you're married or you're really tight with someone, but usually it's niceties and grotesque. Have a nice day, and how you doing today?
Yeah.
And everybody lies. Oh, I'm doing great. Yeah.
Yeah, but it does feel like the lie to make you feel good, that kind of idea has sort of gone off the rails, and like people just can't handle whatever reality. It's odd.
People are terrible to each other. You read the comment sections. I did a Ruth Bader Ginsburg picture with baby parts, like the Beatles, baby parts, meat stuff, And I just wrote the butcher and had her with a big butcher knife, And the comments were just like, you misogynist, racist, how dare you talk bad about, oh my God, oh, dude, this is a little over the top for me. And it's like, dude, I've known you for 10 years. Why is this over the top? If you don't know me by now, you'll never know me. And it's just a joke. It's just a joke.
Especially adults are so weak nowadays. I remember like when I was like a little kid, like in kindergarten, like preschool, like passing around like the little like garbage pail kids. Like,
I remember those.
Like, oh, look at that! Like baby's coming out of the toilet. Like, like it was like whatever. Like if you didn't like it, just don't look at it.
Like I've never commented.
The thing to do, just like if you didn't like it, don't follow or block. Move on.
Everyone feels entitled. They're entitled to say whatever they want, even if they don't have an opinion. It's like they know you, and they're going to say what they want to say. And rarely do you appease anybody. Like I just did a painting of Prince. Very simple, Van Gogh-y, and people love it. And they're kissing my butt. I guarantee once I go back to whatever I want to do next, oh, I thought I knew you.
Yeah.
People will turn their backs on you so quick, man,
Yeah. Like you're careful with what you do for so long, but then like it ends up, while being careful, you say one little slip and you're a racist forever. Oh my goodness. Like, let me tell you what woke me up to just how bad it was, just where our world was going, where our culture was going. What woke me up. So like, and I told you, like, I did like para RP, like, I wrote my RPG instead of like using the little figurines, because I can't use those worth my life. But the group that I was in, like my group of friends, we've known each other for a few years. One of them was, she was actually one of our favorite writers. She wrote beautifully. She could write a novel, and I would have bought it off the shelf in an instant. But the character she was writing, like we knew the character from the beginning, but then she was starting to write her very like this girl. This is taking place like 1500s, maybe 1400s, around that time.
Yeah.
But then she started saying, "Oh my gosh, we have to give this black character cornrows." And also, we gotta make sure that she talks more ghetto-y. And we were looking at each other like, look, we know you're writing her, but we don't think that's really who she is, especially like taking place in the time it was.
Yeah.
And she started arguing with us with that, and we were just confused. Like, why would you be mad about us telling you how we've recognized this character that you've been writing? Like, this is such a 180 shift from the way you were writing her all this time. If you were gonna write an entirely different character, we would have understood, but that's not what was happening.
Yeah.
So one time, one friend, I was away in class at this time, but one friend brought up Gazoogle. If anyone is familiar with that.
No, I don't know what that is.
So Gazoogle, excuse me, is so you put a phrase inside Gazoogle, and whatever phrase you use, like imagine Shakespeare starts talking like Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
So
I think I know where you're going with this.
They all got a kick out of it. I was away. I was gone. But I can assure you, like, had I learned about this around the time, I would have laughed my butt off. But apparently, she started freaking out because she said that this was racist. And they were just confused about that, because just like, this is how literally Snoop Dogg talks. Though. How is this racist? Well, she just went off the rails, and by the time I finished with class, I noticed that she was missing, and I'm just like, where did she go?
Yeah.
So they explain everything to me. I learned that she like completely cut them off, and then after that, she starts like gathering a bunch of people to attack them on their social media. She like they had like columns and columns of like hate from people because she made them all out to be like racist. And I wasn't even part of the entire thing. Like, in fact, I pretty much was like pretty much in the background.
Yeah.
But then, because I was on their side, she later started making a post about me saying, and well, because she didn't have anything to go on me being like racist, you have to believe me by word of mouth, but she is definitely whore-phobic, and also because she's Christian, like, and whore-phobic meaning like I don't like when girls like sleep around, okay,
that's what that is.
I was
like scared of whores.
What?
They just swear.
I remember when they used to just call them like whores.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently. So my character was a little bit more pious. The character that I wrote was pious. So
I know what that is.
She didn't care for people like that. But apparently, me writing that character associated me with that being literal. So whatever happened to like imagination is not reality.
Yeah.
Well, ever since that happened, like one of my friends actually left the community, and the others just like they had to take it, and eventually it died away. But it's still just like that friggin' happened. Why did that happen?
Yeah.
And well, that was what it was like, what the culture was becoming.
I actually have like a question for Dave, like, because I know I have looked through your Instagram and you draw some crazy stuff. And can you think like off the top of your head what's like the craziest or funny insult you've gotten gotten from people. I think they're funny sometimes.
I think it's a mirror to society, really. I think that most of the people that we idolize are garbage and they're false idols and they're ugly on the inside. They're probably women are men and men are women and boys becoming werewolves and just crazy media. I think media has brainwashed people into a really triggered, tribalistic type of thinking, clannish, almost cultish.
Oh yeah,
where
definitely.
people are in their own cults and the cults fall apart. Eventually, you wind up eating yourself if you're in a cult, and so you turn your own people in.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't talked to my own sister in like 3 years, maybe, and I miss her, but I watched the wrong news program, I guess, or I don't vote for the right candidate, or I mean, I don't know, man. It's sad. People have torn into their own camps and hunkered down. You know?
That's weird because, like, I've always been into kind of like following this kind of stuff for a while, but it was always something like it was just a side hobby that I was just sort of into, and I never like, you know, I didn't like go to parties and talked about this shit. Like it was, I knew that there was a dorky boringness to this stuff, so I just, you know, just sort of never cared that much. But then when I noticed people started like getting into politics, but they're getting into it on a more emotional level, it just felt so bizarre to me because I just like to learn as I go. There's no emotion behind it. I just, you know, but
it's best to be logical, you know?
Yeah.
The minute you think emotionally or speak emotionally, you're not being true to yourself. I don't think the honesty will ever be a factor if you're emotional.
Yeah.
Because we are emotional people and we cry at tampon commercials and, you know, Fruit Loops commercials. And, you know, we all have hearts and, you know, when our brain turns to mush sometimes. But if you read logically or think logically, I mean, the best thing to do is educate yourself. Start reading. Go toward what you're afraid of.
Yeah.
If you're afraid of law, read legal documents, dude. Smarten up, you know, learn. And you'll never be afraid of anything in your life. There's no one to fear but fear itself, really. And just be you. Just do and say whatever you want to. And if someone gets offended, good.
Yeah.
You know? At least someone spoke the truth, you know?
Do you guys think that people are getting like addicted to being offended, being that person?
That's an interesting
question.
Because
it's like when that whole Dave Chappelle thing happened, like a month or two, I forget how long ago it happened, but I was watching like some of the protests and some of the people like voicing their grievances, and it's like they didn't really have a specific reason they were there. They were just there to just represent something, like some wave of offense, and it was so bizarre.
Victimhood mentality has taken over society where they want to make you the victim. You are the wrong thinker, and you're a homosexual, right? It's like you can't be a straight man. You can't not feel bad for everybody or yourselves. You have to be downtrodden. Your kids have to hate you. You have to be sad about something. And if you're happy and you're skipping down the street and you're making jokes and nothing offends you, they are so frightened of that because they can't put you in a box. You know?
I think there is a controlling factor to like the victimhood thing versus like versus if you're someone that just likes to have fun, you can't really be controlled in that way. Which is why I think like
fart jokes used to be funny. For whatever happened to fart jokes, you know what I mean? Or eating your boogers and writing boogers on the wall and stuff.
Yeah,
that used to be cool. You know.
Yeah, I miss gross out humor, like good gross out humor, but it just
What was that one comedian that had the what's it called, the fort machine? The one that makes that like he would hide it. I think he had it with Conan O'Brien, and he would just like at the right moment he would just have it, just have it come out.
Sounds familiar.
And
I can't think of it.
Thought he was doing it, but he had like one of those things that you would squeeze, and the sound would come out. I don't remember who. It was like some funny. Oh, the guy from Naked Gun. That guy's super funny. I can't remember.
Liam Neeson.
The guy with the big eyes, like the like the deer like scared in with the headlights in his face.
The Liam Neeson, I think his name is the old guy.
Gun? No,
The old guy with white hair.
Yeah.
The guy with white hair.
Are you
Yeah.
talking about the guy with the white hair? Like he almost looks identical to
Kind of like Steve Carell a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Liam I think his name is Liam Neeson.
I don't think it's Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
It's
I
not,
can't
no,
remember
that's
his name.
The action star.
Yeah,
You know
but,
what? This is what the internet's for.
yeah.
George Kennedy? Was it George Kennedy?
There's
Yeah.
Kennedy.
He was like on the cover.
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That guy.
Okay, yes. And I would always mix him up with another actor who is also famously known for having platinum white hair. And that was
Steve Martin. That guy's like shorter though, I think.
Yeah, but
yes, Steve Martin.
Okay.
That's why I said Martin at first, because Leslie Nielsen looks just like Steve. Well, they don't look just like each other, but their hair is iconic. Like
like all white people look the same, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what? How racist are you? I mean, look, I learned that I am Hispanic, but like culturally, Puerto Rico has a lot of Spaniard mixed with it, and apparently Spaniards have Celtic ancestors. So you know what? I'm officially white.
Well, like if you're any kind of Hispanic and you don't have like the brown skin, you have some kind of European in you. That's just how it is.
At this point, I pretty much feel like I traveled the entire world through my ancestry line.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like supposedly there's Viking blood in my family. I don't really believe it, but yeah, whatever. But
Italian people are black. I know an Italian dude. He's like, "Hey, I'm black, man. Do you like black girls?" He's like, "Yeah, I do. I like black girls. I'm not going to judge anybody for anything. You know what I mean?" And I've known real black people too, and they're pretty cool. So
yeah,
I don't know what the problem.
They're good people too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do miss.
There's a jerk in every crowd. There's a
yeah.
jerk in every culture. There's a bad guy. There's a villain. This is
Everyone
a big movie.
has a bad apple. Everyone has a bad apple in their culture.
And we love them. We love to, and all they have to do is apologize, and we'll take them back. You know what I mean? Just say you're sorry, man.
Unless you're liberal.
Right. Well, if you're Charlie Sheen or something, if he said, "Hey, I messed up, man. You know what I mean? I'm sorry." It's like, okay, you're cool. No, liberals will hate you for the rest of time. Hillary Clinton, you think she's a nice person?
Ever has made you a non-human to us.
Right. No, they're demons. They're baby-eating demon people. You have to make them out to be the worst type of people that ever existed. You know what I mean? In order to get away with your garbage. It's like, look in your backyard first, man. I'm sure. Take the log out of your eye, man, before you find the splinter in mine, because I'm sure you got some skeletons in your closet or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of it's a lot of projection, like from a lot of these politicians. Everything they're accusing everybody else of, they're guilty of. Everything's upside down.
Yeah.
It's
an upside down world we're living in, man. It's like,
they're guilty of, they're blaming everything else on the people or Republicans or conservatives or anywhere else.
It's like the husband who's like, "I know you're cheating on me." It's like, uh-oh, I better look at his phone when he's sleeping, because you're accusing me of what you're guilty of, man,
Yeah.
And that's how people give themselves away. You know what I mean? They give themselves away. Eventually it's, "I'm not racist, but," or "I'm not," once you hear "but," it's like, you're done, dude.
Yeah, but like, like even the claim races, like to say someone is racist, like it doesn't mean anything nowadays. Like I don't even think the people that say it have any idea what it means. Like it
doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. It's just like a prejudice.
It lost its sting.
Right.
Like now, whoever you accuse of racist, you're like, I'm immediately going to assume he's not really racist.
Yeah. Well, it's really stupid, because you can discriminate on somebody if you don't like, I don't like their black hair. You can say that, or I don't like that color. I don't like the green and green peas. Well, you can't say that about anybody's skin color because then it's making it something else.
Yeah.
And then like you can discriminate against like short people all the time, and there's not like a thing for short people. It's like you can't even see them.
Have you heard of that annoying thing called colorism? I think it's called, where it's like if I'm a light-skinned Hispanic, if I could be like racist towards like dark-skinned Hispanics, it's really
color race theory in schools. It's basically a form of communism to get me against you, basically, for no reason. It could be your politics, your race. You're a Nazi. You're a bigot. You're a misogynist. You're xenophobic.
Yeah.
And once you're labeled that, they think they can cancel you. Whatever happened to my body, my choice? Now it's like you do what I say or you do wrong think. You are banished and we're going to talk behind your back and we're going to dox you and we're going to tell people we're going to SWAT you. We're going to tell people where you live. We're going to pick it outside your house like you're Frankenstein or something. Once they get, it's like the Scarlet Witch or the Scarlet Letter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the Crucible. It's like or there's a monster on Mulberry Street or whatever. It's like once they pick out you're an alien or you're a Nazi. It's like, no, I'm not. I know I'm not a Nazi. I don't think I've ever known a Nazi in my life. If I did, I'd probably spit in his face anyway. You know what I mean? So to call me that and me knowing I'm not that and you want to kill me, I mean, that's cancer next if you don't get the jab. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like an easy way to dismiss somebody without explaining why you disagree with them. Like, if you can explain why you disagree with them respectively, I can respect that. But if you're just gonna use an ad hominem and just like insult the person, it's just like that's just being lazy. That's just being fucking lazy, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, what's happening is that I think the left in general has just gotten lazy at debating, and it's like I would say I'm pretty left leaning, but not in that sense, you know. I'm just, you know, like I like to
like dudes.
Exactly. But you know, like I like to have these talks and I listen to like all kinds of people to kind of ground yourself, but I think after a while, like when you don't do that, you just get lazy, but you still have to like defend whatever position you think you're supposed to. And then like I think that's where ideologies sort of come in. It's like you don't have any facts behind you except some ideology.
You have to be malleable. You have to know how to change. That's what we are. We're like plants. We get watered. I used to be pro-abortion, kind of. I've known a lot of women use that as a form of birth control. But then as you go and you look at the films and you study and you look into it, it's like, nope. I don't think I'm pro-abortion anymore. And they're killing babies outside the womb. And that's just kind of gross. So, and I changed my views and I'm proud of them. And I'll stand by them. And I won't judge you if you're pro-abortion. I won't. I'm not going to scream at you and not to do anything. I mean, it's a societal issue or a cultural issue, if anything. You know? So, you know, state your piece, say your opinion, and learn and grow as a human while you're alive. You know what I mean? Because it don't last that long, dude. You know what I mean? You gotta keep your brain growing.
What do you have to say to people that might say, "Well, you're a guy. Like your opinion doesn't matter."
It really doesn't. It doesn't.
let me throw in my 2 cents on that. Because like the more I learn about the whole abortion issue, like to preface, I am pro-life 100%. But apparently a lot of the girls who do get the procedure done do more time, 9 times out of 10, a guy, specifically the father of that baby, is the one pushing them to go have the abortion, and because they don't want to be responsible for caring for a kid. And so like to kind of avoid responsibility, they should be a voice, but then when they actually speak against it, you're a guy, you have no opinion. Like how hypocritical is that?
The problem too with the whole like pro-abortion movement is that they're not focused on the areas where if they're not really showing compassion. Like if they're like really pro-choice, I would think they would focus more on the slither of like girls that actually get raped.
Yeah, I mean it's rare,
how
do we rare when it happens?
Very rare, which is like less than 0.5%.
Yeah.
Maybe focus on that, and then focus on like the women that you were talking about, where there's the guy that they did the thing with, like wants them to like they need the support. They need the support to like, okay, there's options for you. You don't necessarily have to go through abortion. And I'm not seeing that with the whole pro-choice. It's just more like, well, let's just kill the baby. They're not showing any compassion. No. If they would focus on these other issues, these like more honing in on the real victims, which is like the girl that was left by the boyfriend, the rape victims, but they're not. They don't care. Yeah. They're not showing that they really care.
No. And I also have learned, like, there are some rape victims who have had their child, and the girls actually really hate being used as the brunt of an argument. Like there's this one girl that I listened to on her podcast. Her name is Krista something. Unfortunately, I forgot her last name, but she was a rape victim, and she ended up getting pregnant from her rapist.
Yeah.
And she just felt immediately that the baby is not to blame for what happened to her. And there's this other girl who seeks out other rape victims who were impregnated by their rapists, and they don't like being used for your arguments. Like, don't use me to give yourself a reason to justify killing a baby.
Yeah.
It just
follow the money too. It's billions and billions. It's $1 trillion industry.
Yeah, it's a lucrative market. Yeah.
Sell them baby parts, man. I mean, stem cell research, big money, and big Pfizer. Yep. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah.
Your society is gonna dictate to you what is approved or not approved by power, basically. So you're a racist bigot if you're not pro Planned Parenthood. They got ways of making you talk. I imagine. You know, they have their own minions out there who will infiltrate themselves in your system in order to make you look like a jerk. They'll send a honeypot. They'll send whatever. And if you speak bad about abortion too much, they have ways of making you shut up. I mean, it's a cultish money-making industry that will never be. It's cool to see certain people, like, it's not legal here, but you could still get it after 3 weeks or something. I mean, there's a way around this thing to work out the issue or whatever, because it is an issue, but it's a personal issue. Government has gotten too far up inside of us.
Yeah.
They control your body now and your thoughts and your thinking. And I don't know, it will never change. I don't think, not in this go round, man. There's too many rich people with evil intent,
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's necessarily like that politicians are in control. I think it's just more whatever's in control of the media is controlling everything else. Like
deep state.
Yeah, like
the banks.
Yep, the banks rule us all. Rothschilds own every bank in the world, every single one. They own every media corporation, every single one. So not only are you being brainwashed and dictated through the media, I mean, most media is evil. Like, once you're a Christian and born again and you listen to the news, you throw up, dude. Or you listen to music, just any type of music, you throw up. It's like once evil enters into your ears or eyes or nose or wherever it's coming from, it tries to get a hold of you, and babies are innocent, man. Babies are not racist. They're innocent, but look at the garbage. I mean, you remember when you turned, right? I think I turned around 8. I gave up. I'm like, no, I lost my innocence. Basically, it was a slow drip, drip, drip. But we don't want kids to be kids. We don't want free thinkers. We don't want joy. We want you to walk the walk.
Yeah.
Walk the walk, or you're going to be disappeared, or you're going to be poor your whole life and never have a voice. They have ways of making that happen, you know.
And they're basically attacking the children's mind. Like whoever has been born, they're trying to corrupt them too early. And now like children are learning about sex at like younger than 4 years old in their own classrooms.
Yeah.
And now like even 3-year-olds are hearing about whether they're a boy or a girl. And it's just like, that's not something you teach to a little kid.
Yeah. Someone I know has a baby, and they watch like they play these YouTube videos for the baby, like, you know, clap your hands kind of shit. And one, it just mentions that the host woman is gay and she brings her wife, and you know, it's one thing if it's videos for like a 6-year-old, but these are videos for babies. Like, I mean,
you get them young, get them when they're young. Look at Baby Shark. There's no male character, is there? It's all baby mama shark. You know, I don't know.
I remember there not being a papa shark. Like the version I know is that there is a daddy shark and a grandpa shark.
That's really bizarre. I'm sure there's some subliminal in there somewhere that little kids who can't even speak yet are listening to that religiously. Like, oh, put it on again, put it on again. It's like total brainwashing, total. I mean, how could that have 3 billion views on YouTube or whatever, you know? It's like, it's a voice of the masses, like a zeitgeist, like a spiritual masses.
Yeah.
Like, someone on a foreign island, a desert island, will know the Beatles. And it's like, how would you know the Beatles? You never listened to the radio in your life. You've never had technology. How do you know Hey Jude? How do you know I Want to Hold Your Hand? And culturally, they'll know it. It's like dolphins dying on the West Coast die off, and then they die off on the East Coast. There's some communication or genealogy or something that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, everything, there's a duality to everything. And once a race is tainted, it's going to take a while to come back from it, because that's what we're doing. We're doing like communism, man. Get them when they're young. Look at cartoons, man. Cartoons used to be, Scooby-Doo used to be funny. You know, now it's just like adult humor, you know, and stuff that you really shouldn't let your kids watch. I wouldn't let my kids watch The Simpsons. You know what I mean? Or
actually, I'm sorry for interrupting, Dave. But like that's kind of why the graphic novel that I'm writing, Abigail. That's kind of why I started like going more, Christian-y with the route. It's because there is too much humor that that's adult for little kids, and you know if you jump into that. Just as much as everyone else, you're not being an example to a kid that just needs to hear something that's good for them. That's good, that'll help them grow as a person. It's hard to find any animation like that anymore, unless we go back to like rubber hose type animation, like old Looney Tune cartoons.
And they were still racist. There's a bunch of hidden gems out there from Disney and Warner Brothers and all that, where it's like, you know, really racist. I think they were trying to push a form of patriotism in our country, which is kind of good. But they did it in a roundabout way. You could tell it was the federal government speaking through their cartoons, you know, through their child. I know I am probably 18. I am probably R-rated, or I am probably PG 13 or whatever, because I'm speaking to an adult demographic that would specifically know what I'm talking about. And if they don't know what I'm talking about, you don't show weird stuff to children. Like once when my daughter was little, I showed her clip from Final Destination where a guy gets chopped into 20 pieces.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Is that a robot?" And I'm like, yeah, that's a robot. That's a robot. And I'm like, wow, dude, she's 10. She's old enough to see this crap. And they're taking these kids to the movies to see it.
Yeah.
It's hard having parental control because the world, it can seep in anywhere, especially through classrooms and computers and alone time on screen and all that.
Yeah.
And I worry about my niece and nephew all the time. Like their parents are great. Their parents are great people, but I still wonder, like, once they're older, who are they going to be around? When my niece goes to college, what kind of people she's going to be around? My nephew, he's very, very, very little. So it's just, I worry about them all the time. So I'm just, I don't want this world to teach them.
Yeah.
And
they're giving them like pizza. Or they're giving kids pizza, like, so they can get vaccinated. It's crazy. It's like, here's some pizza. Get some pizza. You get vaccinated.
Just assume they're going to hang out with burnouts or whatever your youth was like, and the devil will tempt you like through the opposite sex, and you'll realize you'll grow. It just takes a while. The brain isn't even developed until you're like 25 or something. You're going to mess up. You know what I mean? You're going to be a goofball. You're going to make stupid decisions. You'll learn about racism when you say the wrong word. Trust me, society will shame you, and you'll be molded more into what society wants. If you want money, if you want a picket fence or children, you'll get what you want. But there's no book written about any of that stuff. It's trial and error. You know what I mean? You're going to fail constantly, and you learn. That's all. You got to have faith. You got to pray for these kids, stand your ground, have a morality about yourself, which a lot of people don't have anymore. They're group thinkers. They all think the same,
You're right. And actually, like, I recently signed up to teach a class with my church. So even in the church body, like, a lot of people don't get into the really hard subjects, and we notice that's pretty bad. That's become a problem in our church. So so a friend of mine wanted to put together a class that the leaders actually had to learn to answer the hard questions and not avoid them, so that we can discuss them with kids between 8th grade to 12th grade, 6th grade to 12th grade. Like when they stumble on those really hard subjects, so that we don't just avoid them, but meet them head on. That's something that we are actively trying to like keep ourselves to doing. So it's going to be starting in February very soon.
Kids ask the darndest things, You've been answering a kid ever since they were born. You know what I mean? What is that? What is that? Why is that? Who is that? What is it? And you try to be a good parent, and you say, that's bad. Don't burn yourself. Don't get hurt. You could die if you jump off the roof of a building. It's simple things to the more difficult things where you basically lie until they hit puberty, basically, and they learn all this stuff from their friends. You have internet, you know what I mean? I don't know what age they're looking at things, but they're going to stumble across something somewhere, which you have to be critical in your thinking. You have to know, like, when my daughter hit 13, it's like, where is she? Oh, she's over her boyfriend's house. You took her to Planned Parenthood, right? No. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? She's 13. What were you doing when you were 13? And she's like, you're right. I'm going to talk to her tonight. You know what I mean? So parents are in denial a lot too. Like, that's my baby. No, not every court where, like OJ's mother, that's my son. My son would never hurt anybody. You're going to defend your babies, man.
Very true. Like, a lot of parents seem to like want to keep basically keep the blinders on. They want their babies to remain babies, yet are not willing to talk to them about the really rough, hard subjects. It's like, help.
I think my mom gave me like a porno mag when I was like 12 or something. I'm like, what the heck is this? You know what I mean? She's like, that's it. You know, it's like, well, just give me a carton of smokes and, you know, a thing of alcohol or something. I mean, so there I did. I looked at the pictures and it was just like human beings being human beings. You never put one and one together, you know, because you don't have those feelings, you know?
Yeah.
So everybody does it different, you know, and some people don't do it at all. You know, I'm sure what my daughter has been through at sleepovers have been traumatic. You know what I mean? But everything's cool when she gets home. So you don't know, you know, you don't know what's going on. You assume the worst, though, and chances are that's exactly what's happening. I mean, unless your kid's wearing a priest outfit at 2 or whatever, you're in trouble. You've got some growing up to do with your kids. You know what I mean? It's hard, you know, being a parent or a parental figure, but it's a role that you have to play, you know?
Yeah, these last like couple years of like really made me kind of try to think like how I would address like being a parent, because like I've thought about having kids, but it's just these last 2 years I see what's going on. It's like I don't know how to do it. It's like
no one does.
It's like the public school thing, and like seeing public schools turn into what they kind of exposed to be, and like,
right now, me and my husband are not thinking about kids. I want them eventually, but like also knowing where I have hope for our country. I do have hope that it will make a turnaround. However, I still, but you know, but having kids right now, it's just like, let's wait a couple years.
Well, the problem is that there's too much stimulation out there. Like too many. There's cell phones, all this technology, and they're just getting too much too quickly instead of getting it in those like small dosages like we got as like little kids.
Overstimulation.
Yeah, I remember when I was like a little kid, the first time I saw like a topless girl, that was like too much, and I was like already like I forget how I was like a little kid, but like that was still too much. But like now kids, if they wanted to, they can get that stuff and just get that instant gratification like nonstop. And it's bad because then how do you satisfy that craving every single time? Like that's how you get these serial killers out there too. You need to like control, or you can't control. You have to like it's just difficult because there's so much stimulation. You have to like somehow pull back on the exposure that they're getting, because they need to be able to be kids before they become adults, before they're exposed to like adult themes.
Join the Amish, I guess. That's the only way out.
Seriously?
They never got COVID. They don't have TVs. They never got COVID, but ever once probably. So they're living their own bubble and make mad money off of selling guitars and chairs and stuff.
And fireplaces.
You're going to have a happy accident, and some woman's going to say, I'm pregnant, or some man will say, hey, I think you're pregnant, you know, and they'll say, oh no, what do I do? Everyone reacts different. Some women are like, should I get the Plan B pill? And some man is like, hell no, that's my baby. You kill it, right? That's my baby. Or if you're lucky, you'll have a man that loves you and a woman that equally loves you, and you'll grow together. And it happens when it happens, and it's going to happen. You know, it's just divine intervention steps in. Like if you're supposed to have that, you will have that. You know, like the Bible says, don't get married. Try to hold your lustful thoughts. And it's best not to be married. But if you do get married, that's cool too. You know, it's up to you really what you want to do. But the Lord will guide you.
I can pull up the Bible verse you are talking about. But I also am just like, I don't remember it saying specifically don't get married at all. So
No, it does. It does. I mean, I'm not going
that's
to
why I
find
said
it.
I'm
You
gonna
know
pull
what I
that up
mean?
at some point. Just to
Right. Just pull up, something about marriage.
Oh,
Like if a man has fire in his loins and he can't control himself,
yeah.
go get married,
it's
dude. You
better.
know what I
It's
mean?
better to be married. Okay, yeah, I know what verse you're. I know the verse you're going for. But I also need to find like which book it's in really quick. Dr.
Yeah.
Google, help me.
Well, that's the problem too with like having abortion available as an option is that it motivates, or what's the right word? It encourages some women to be promiscuous, and they're like, well, I have the option of like getting rid of it anyway, so I can. So they're not as picky, they're not as selective with the guy that they go out with. So like, if abortion was available, they'd be like, well, you know what? Like, I like Kim, but I know I really want to be with this guy instead of like just like going down the line.
Like there's no loyalty.
There's no loyalty, yeah.
And
there's
so
no
like
ramifications.
so then basically dating is being treated like grocery shopping.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's okay. You pick up a fruit, you touch it a few times, put it down, check the next fruit. Basically, that's how dating and marriage is being treated. Like dating was about like if this is a person you want to marry at some point. That's how I dated. Like I wanted to be sure whoever I was dating that I could see my entire future with. Eventually I found my husband, but that's pretty much how I treated dating. And just made life easier in the end.
Well, that's a good choice. I mean, but we have too many choices. There's too many choices right now. We can't stand. Remember when there was one choice, like good or bad? Now everything is a gray area. If I want my abortion, I'll get my abortion through hell or high water. You're not going to tell me what to do. There's no accountability anymore. There's no ramifications. You can walk into a store and steal right now. You can burn down someone's house and murder someone and get away with it. You can, as long as
is good and good is being treated as evil.
Yeah, that's the one thing about like the abortion thing that I'm a little kind of off put about. Like I wouldn't say I'm pro life per se, but there is something about like, how do I put this, like how you say, like it's taking away that like the ramifications of like whatever choices. And when I see it like being treated like you could just get an abortion like on Saturday if you wanted to, like I don't know, I don't even know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, well, it's
like fast food world.
Like it's too convenient, and I don't think it's good.
Well, it's like instant
gratification. Yeah.
Well, it's because the government's already involved. Either way you think about it, like the government's involved, so you can't say, oh, the government has to stay out of like a woman's choice, because you're already involved. We're subsidizing the doctor that's yanking that baby out of that woman. If the woman had to actually do that herself, she would never have, like maybe like a few, but like, can you imagine somebody like a woman just yanking a baby out of herself? She would never do it, but it's like so easy because we subsidize it because of the government.
But I think like just on a societal level,
even want to be involved in something like that, though.
Yeah, that is what.
Yes, of course they do. There's money.
It's something that the government shouldn't even be superseding into funding, because why does that matter to the government? Why is a baby? Why does a baby matter to the government?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's like a business, like Dave's been saying. It's like we're still sacrificing people. It's like it goes back to like the days of Maya.
Like 6,000 years ago, man. It's like this all started. There's a certain type of people that call them lizard people, make a joke about it, but there's certain rich, elevated people in our society that talk out of both sides of their mouth. They're professional liars. Satan is their daddy, basically, you can say. And they take money from pro-abortion rights groups, and they take money from lobbyists. That's what fuels the system. It's a two-headed snake, and they're both bad guys. Trust me. They don't. Once in a while, someone screws up and does something good, but a broken clock is always right twice. You know what I mean? So they'll give you just enough to keep you poor and stupid. You know what I mean? And that's their goal. Because the minute you call them out of what they really are, they'll no. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess to everybody, like, how would you, I guess, fight what's going on in your most how would the everyday person fight back what's going on nowadays?
Well, for me, I'm already like getting involved with my church more and more often. Like I'm doing that class that gets into the really hard subjects. Like it's going to go into sexuality. It's going to go into abortion. It's going to go into race. Like this particular class I'm super excited about. Right now, it's the best I can do in my particular area. And like with what I draw, like I draw things that are very pro-marriage, pro-family. So lots of romance, lots of children, you know, you name it. I like right now, that's where my influence lies. And, you know, even doing podcasts like this, like I was scared out of my mind the first time we did this because this is honestly the first time I'm honestly being super open about my beliefs.
Yeah.
But the fact that I started, I'm very proud of myself because I feel much more confident the second time around. So for me, just starting out with talking to the kids at my church and just like being a voice for conservative artists, I feel I'm starting somewhere. I even do a Bible study specifically for artists with my friend Anna.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
I think for me, I think like the average person, step one, I think, is just like step away from whatever the mainstream is as much as you can. Like just probably stay away from just watching mainstream television. That'd be like the number one thing people can do to just fix what's going on. People are so easily influenced by the media nowadays, and it's so obvious and badly done. Whenever I watch, like, I just stumble upon like mainstream television, and like it's always preachy, and it's even when it's not trying to be, it's still kind of doing something preachy, and yeah, I think more and more like step for everybody, just stop watching television maybe. And this is hard for someone like I grew up watching TV, you know, I'm one of those people. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys what do you guys think?
Well, yeah, like we've been infiltrated. It's kind of difficult because a lot of stuff that I grew up with, like pop culture, a lot of things that I love in music, and it's like a drug. It's kind of hard to like give it up. But like I love the music. I love like some of the movies and stuff. But it's like it's like I started like I've always kind of like questioned things, but like it's like the last 5 years, it's just like it's been like too much.
Yeah.
But I mean, the good thing about this is that it's become so obvious in your face that I'm no longer kind of like lingering in the gray area. Like I have an opinion. Like I'm not around the bush. Like on certain things, like most of the issues of today, like I have an opinion about it. Like where I'm committing to that opinion. I'm not going to be wishy-washy like some of these politicians or some of these people where they just want to like hang out in the gray area, but they never commit to either side because they don't want to insult anyone. But like you have to commit. It's like if you don't want to wear a mask, commit to like not wearing a mask. If you don't want to take the vaccine, like commit to like saying, okay, I'm not going to take the vaccine. These are my reasons. Like I'm pro-life for these reasons. and don't be scared just because you're a guy that you can't be pro-life. Like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
It's like it takes two to make a baby. Like
it does.
Every
Another thing.
it's
Like,
like
Yeah.
it takes two to tango, man. So I think people just need to stop hanging out in that gray area and just commit and stop being so fucking afraid. Because I can't even talk to like half of my friends like I grew up with or like artist friends.
Yeah.
Because everything is like triggers them. It's like, oh, like why did you send me this? Like he's like, even if it's not political, they'll associate it with it being a political, or it's just people are too soft nowadays, or
Yeah.
they just don't want to be associated to certain things because then they have to defend, or they feel they have to defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Either like defend yourself or just like, who cares? Like, that's your opinion. If you really believe in that, and I think people need to be strong and just stand up for what they believe in instead of just like backing away. Because I keep seeing it, like a lot of people. So, yeah, just commit. Yeah, I do like the little things. Don't wear the mask. Don't state your opinion to the people that, or give your opinion to the people that will actually listen to you. A lot of people don't. The only people that have really like listened to me recently have been you guys. So that's why I like doing this, because like, take it out. Like,
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What did you just say? I kind of zoned out there. So, you know.
Oh, sorry. It's just like anything like remotely like, but everything is considered as politics has just been like injected into pop culture. Is like no way around it.
Yeah.
No way around it. You have to confront it. Stop being afraid. Confront like reality instead of like backing away from it.
Mm-hmm.
The only way through is straight ahead.
Yeah, I think also people should just have more of these kind of conversations. If find whatever group of people that they can to have these conversations regularly. Like, there's just something about finding middle ground with people on subjects that it kind of eases you. And like sometimes like people on the left, like they have this weird kind of inquisitionist paranoia like towards any objections, and it's so, I don't know like where that came from. It's weird. It's weird when like when you have this realization that you can't have these conversations with people as much as you'd wish you did, or as much as you wish you can.
The Lord will bring people into your life. I have people calling me from out of the blue, and you can open up and be honest with them and just be yourself, and they're cool with it. They love you. They accept you for who you are. The Lord will bring you people like that. It depends on who you are, and you have to have your own morality. You have to thine own self be true. A lot of people have, and it's like they make themselves kings and gods and arbiters of truth, and they become powerful, and they're drunk on their own power, and they're on their own ways of thinking that are completely wrong. What are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to fight back? Well, that's not smart, because you're feeding into them, and it's getting worse. There is a derangement syndrome, or a brainwashing, or some evil has come out into this world, maybe in the past 5 years, that's reared its ugly head. And it's hard. You have to stand strong and firm in your beliefs and wipe it out. Don't read it. Don't look at it.
Yeah.
People have said the worst things to me online, like, oh, Dave's lost it. He's lost his mind. It was probably COVID. He used to be so good. And it's like, dude, that's the devil. That is like, the devil knows exactly the worst thing to say to you to weaken you. And you really have to put on the armor and shield of God. And don't let it in. Don't let it in. Be firm and do whatever you want to do. Do what's in your heart. You know, you're a child now. You're born again. You're born. You're a baby. Be whoever you want to be in this life. Even if you want to be a serial killer, be the best serial killer you can be.
Maybe not that, but yeah.
I'm like agreeing. Yes, amen, amen, amen. Go be the best serial killer. What?
Yeah. It's kind of making fun like politicians, like
Yeah.
I
say
know
all
it's
the right
hilarious.
things,
I love it.
and that's like the cult mentality
Really
that
like,
you find.
I love this guy.
Yeah. Well, it's like the same thing like with like.
Well, you got to be the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Well, it's like the cult
Be the
mentality.
best you could be.
The
Mike,
what mentality?
Right.
oh, I was gonna say it's kind of like the cult mentality, like where you
Cult.
find somebody that you agree with for like a long time, and then they might say something that you don't agree with that's like completely opposite of what you believe in, but you try to justify, oh no, he only said that because of this, and it's like that's the cold mentality where you're like you fall in love so much and you put this person on a platform that you're willing to look away when they do something that goes against your principles. And that's a problem that it's happening, like Dave said, like it's happening on both the left and the right. Well, that's why I don't believe in the left and the right, because it's like its own illusion. And people need to establish their principles and stick to them, because politicians are wishy-washy. They're gonna they don't have any most of them don't have any morals. Like they'll say whatever they need to say to get reelected. It's all strategies to them. And that's why people get too emotionally invested in some of these people. It's like you need to call out bullshit wherever it's coming from. And
I agree with you 100%. Like I'm forever Republican. I will always be Republican. But if the politician that I am voting for is showing like a sort of wishy-washiness that doesn't represent where I stand for, I don't want him. Mm-hmm. So like I'm the type of Republican who's like I want to clean up my platform from all the crap.
Yeah.
From all the crap people. Like, get out of my platform.
Well, you have to ask the Lord for discernment and say, is this the right person? Is this, you know, it's like people are closed. The Lord brings certain people into your life for the right time. You know, if you're on drugs, they'll bring out all the drug addicts. If you're lust, you're going to be friends with a lot of sluts. If you're, you know what I mean? It's like the Lord, whatever you pray for, you will get, and be careful what you wish for, because your life will be the exact dictated exactly what you want. And you have to discern, give yourself up, give your ego up, give all those wishes up and say, am I doing the right thing here? I've only got, why did you put me here? Why am I here? Guide me, you know, bring me joy, make it easy, give me discernment, because this ain't working. Yeah. You know, I once had a girlfriend who cheated on me, and I'm telling my friend, like, what do you do? I don't know what to do. She's cheating on me. He's like, beat her up. And I'm like, okay, I'll do what he said. He's my friend. I'll go beat her up. And I go to her house, and she looks beautiful, as always. And I'm like, I can't beat this person. What is that? People give the worst advice. You know what I mean? It's like, pray on it, dude. Go away. You know, let it go for a minute. Yeah, pray. Talk to, and the Lord will bring people into your life that'll be honest with you, you know, and say, she just don't love you anymore. That's all. And you have to come to terms with yourself and get over yourself and be lovable again. That's all. You know, tomorrow's another day, man. You know what I mean? People are people, and they're going to be people. And sometimes people let you down, you know, or you'll let yourself down, but you gotta keep moving on. As long as you got breath in you, there's hope. You know what I mean? You gotta have hope and know that I wasn't born, God does not make garbage, and I wasn't born to fail. You know what I mean? I wasn't born to, so the end of this movie is going to be a horror movie? No, it's going to be it's going to be the movie you make it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yep.
We should probably start kind of winding down. Getting a little late.
And thankfully we cut out like last time.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a bummer. Anyways.
Like everybody cut out, right? Like for like 30 seconds or a couple of minutes, like we all sort of cut out, right? Or was that just me?
That was just you. But it was pretty quick. It was pretty quick.
You always get kicked out. Or like with the whole Rittenhouse, when we were talking about that, like I was talking about.
Oh, that is a sucky subject to be cut off from.
Yeah.
All right, so continue.
I don't know. Is there any topics you guys just want to go on off the top of your heads?
I can go on like any type of subject you guys want to go over, but like I guess also like an hour, and I still have to go over some business things with my partner.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking just maybe going on like what drove Dave to like what religion would you consider yourself, Dave?
I think I was born again when I was like 16, but I still did drugs and alcohol and was promiscuous, and I had religion. So I was cool all the way around, you know what I mean? But, and you read your Bible front to back, and it brings out some really dark characters in your life to bring you back, And so you go up and down, and you live and you learn, and you dust off that Bible once in a while to sort of course correct yourself, because people give the worst advice, and that's all you can do, man. I don't see anyone failing, because it seems like everyone's in the right headspace right now. You know what I mean? In this room that we're specifically in. But you step outside of this room, people say the darndest things or do the darndest things, and you got to get over yourself and just allow people to be people. Don't be a jerk to anybody that you wouldn't want them being a jerk to you, and just get along. And don't use certain words if it's going to trigger people or whatever, and just go on and move along with your life. Be whoever you want to be. That's all, and that way you're free. You are free to do whatever you want to do, because you're not judging what they're doing,
So I guess to answer his question, you sound non-denominational like me.
I don't know. It's kind of like politically, I'm a conservative, liberal. You know what I mean? I'm again. I voted for Bernie Sanders. I mean, there's something wrong there, And then you learn about communism and socialism, and it's like, no, I know there is a God. I know deep in my heart I'm going to heaven. I know I believe in Jesus Christ my whole life. I'm not as religious paranoid as I used to be, but I still am. You can't grow out of that. I think there's an empty space in everyone's heart that the Lord will get into eventually, one way or another, And all my friends have been atheists. I know some born again people and who have seen miracles and divine intervention and all types of things. It's hard being in this world. It really is, man, because the world dictates that you have to fulfill every dream. You have to be someone for everybody. And then you realize eventually, like, this kind of sucks, I've been a puppet my whole life. When am I going to have a voice or say or do what I want to do, and ask the Lord to help people along the way. Be a helper. It's selfish to have children. It's selfish to be an artist somewhat. It's selfish. You're self-aggrandizing your needs over the Lord. I mean, unless you're sitting there saying, I love you, Jesus, constantly while you're painting a naked woman in fishnet stockings, there's something wrong there. You know what I mean? It's like, just be true to yourself, man. And you will make the right decisions. You will do the right. We're not stupid. Everything I learned in kindergarten. If that's been taken away from me, I have a problem. Relearn, reprogram yourself. Step into the country. I know a dude who just built a chicken coop. You know what I mean? And he's a Christian and he's a nice guy, but he's smart in the ways of the world that we're constantly being lied to. And he's meticulous about the way he picks apart liars and cults and groupthink. And that's not a bad way to be these days. If you're going to live in the world but not of it, you have to know the enemy. You have to know your enemy. And they come as bright, shiny, beautiful objects that will brainwash you. And you got to wake up and just, like, I used to love Robert De Niro. Now I look at him like that is a demon. You know what I mean? And I choose not to be of their ilk. Or I used to have friends who were homosexuals and I didn't care whatsoever. And then it burns a part of your spirit apart where certain people know right from wrong and certain people don't judge others. And I was just thinking today about one of my gay friends, and this guy looked just like Jesus. And he's like, I think the guy wants to have sex with me. And I'm like, dude, you're going to have sex with Jesus. You're never going to psychologically get over it. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, you're right. You know, my Catholic upbringing, my father would kill me. Right. And it's like, maybe I shouldn't be around homosexuals anymore if there's such a lack of, you know, kismet going on there. Maybe, you know, I don't care what you do. I love you as a brother. But if you're going to bring it up or talk to it, there's a spiritual disconnect there that, you know, I don't really want to exploit. You know what I mean? I'll be your friend, but I won't be your lover. Or I won't be, you know, that's not my business, you know. So there has to be a mutual understanding going on there. And you can learn from all types of people. Like, you know what I mean? Druggers, thieves, monsters you could learn from, you know, as long as they're being honest with themselves. That's all I ask of you. Just be honest. The minute you lie to me, we're done. And it could be the stupidest lie. We're done. I will never trust you again. I'll still be your friend, but I've got to move along. You know what I mean? It happens. You know, be strong with yourself. Be choosy. Be picky in life too, man. You don't have to be friends with everybody. You don't have to have everybody love you. They're not gonna ever. No one's ever gonna. People can say the worst things to you. You know that's not true. You know what I mean? Move along, man. Make your own posse.
Yeah.
Have kids. Teach them well. You know what I mean? Teach your friends well. Set an example. You know. That's the best you could do is be a teacher, be something admirable, you know, in society. Be a fireman, be something that's going to benefit us. You know, don't be a piece of garbage who thinks that their voice or what they're doing is saving humanity. They're not. They're not saving humanity. They got brainwashed somewhere along the way that in service of others has to be stilted. It doesn't. Serve everybody. Save a life, man. Be a vessel for the Lord. You know what I mean? And he'll put you in the right place at the right time. If you're meant to save a drug addict, you're going to stumble over one. If you're meant to, and it will be a 2-minute interaction, and you just saved his life. You saved this grandkid's life, probably. There's no way of you knowing, and it's best not to know. You know what I mean? Be a positive in this world while you can. You know.
All right. I guess we'll just end it there. Fuck it.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have anything better to say after all that.
All right. I guess Dave, if you want to like plug your website or anything like that, you can go ahead.
I don't know. I'd feel really dirty to do that now.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of dirty, dude. It's like it's pompous and self-aggrandizing. You know. I think it's just as a message. Is you guys are great. I was a little nervous too, but for no reason at all. I love you guys. I'll see you guys again soon.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right.
Evan, you want to plug anything you're working on or anything like that?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you guys want to support my me and my friends' children's books, I am writing something called "Where's My Shepherd?" It's supposed to be like a Christian symbolic story of a lamb and a ram looking for their shepherd. You can already guess the Christian context off of that.
Yeah.
And my friend Timothy is asked me to be his illustrator for his story called Chosen the Angel. And Chosen is an angel who is specifically watching over like men and women who have shaped our country. So he's going to be more of a modern take of angelic, divine. Words escape me right now. But anyway, he's going to be doing all that. And well, Abigail, I will just tell you right now, it takes place in the 1920s and it has a lot to do with exorcism. So
nice, cool. I guess David, did you want to plug anything or?
No, I don't want to plug anything, but I want to thank Dave for coming on because I found it really interesting. I really appreciate your sense of humor, even the dark sense of humor, the left and right turns that you had for us. It kept us. It made it very entertaining. And the last thing I would say, I do agree with you in terms of like people will give you the worst advice, and the reason for that is that the best advice is advice that you don't want to hear. And the truth, sometimes or most of the time, like hurt. So I think we just need to be honest with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever we get somebody that gives us the truth, as painful as it may be, I think we should just take the time to reflect on that and maybe think maybe they do care. Maybe they are trying to help us. And yeah, just listening to God, always praying for guidance. I think that was really important. I think that he drove that point across really well. And once again, thanks so much for sharing your thoughts, Dave. Also, thanks. I can't say your name. Evine. Yeah, thank you. I saw the last podcast too, so I thought it was really interesting. I'll end it at that because I don't want to. I know everybody has things to do, but
yeah.
I feel bad now because I'm the only one who actually did any self promotions. Like I probably should have said something wise.
I feel bad. I should have. I'll pin my website. I'll pin my T-shirt company. I'll pin it all. I'm in Flip City Magazine. I'm a hooker. It's weird putting yourself out in public because you're a salesman basically, and you're selling yourself, and you're selling. Why are you selling yourself? To be part of the world system, it's like you are. There's no way of avoiding it. You should be proud, It's like pearls before swine, kind of, Be proud of who you are. If you're selling a product, do it. You know what I mean? It's like if it's a lemonade stand. You know what I mean? You're selling lemonade, basically. We're clowns. We're carnival barkers. We're a product, we're a brand, basically. And if you want or need or help or anything, there's going to be people. Ask and you shall receive, basically, And if they like you, they'll buy your product. If they don't like you, then they'll be replaced with somebody more positive or someone who does like you, So you'll be fine. Everyone will be fine.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. It was absolutely a joy talking to you.
I guess I'll plug some things. I'm also beyond this show. I'm looking to do another kind of similar show. Be on the lookout for that for a couple of weeks, and I'm also looking to put together a kind of a weekly music-based show. So be on the lookout for that, and also having some merch made pretty soon. All right, I guess just end it at that. I'm your host, Senor Filth. Thank you to everybody. Dave, Divine, Benevolent. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. All right, see you. Peace.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, peace.